Because what I decided was, good or bad, this is going to be the way that I get to at least communicate to others.
Yes. You didn't have nobody to talk to.
So, like, I'm just throwing shit out there. I'm throwing chum in the water. Just somebody talk to me. Tell me why I'm wrong. Like, do something. I like...
no business motivation initially.
No idea.
Just connection, engagement.
No concept of that even being a thing.
Okay.
I fully believe that there's no way I can run a business.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a junkie. That some idiot decided to pay $75,000 to and realized on day 3 I was a bad hire and I was still better than everybody in the room.
Right.
Oh, you were addicted while you still were at the job?
No. But like, I mean, I'm 12 years clean. I'm still a heroin addict.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't eat a donut. You know, like, people are like, oh, yeah, you know, I have a drink, I break out in handcuffs 2 days later. Like, if I were to go home right now and stop and get a tub of Ben & Jerry's ice cream, a week from now, I'm going to put on 4 pounds and be like, shit, I just got to start over. Like, I don't have a chill on that, right? So, like, that's also in my nature. So I got that. I got a whole bunch of insecurity. I got a whole bunch of life experience. I got a whole bunch of all this other stuff. And also, like, I'm a little autistic. I don't make friends well, and I got nobody to talk to. So my entire existence is like MySpace bulletin board version shit on Facebook groups, just sharing out into the ether. Now, the fun thing that happened was a lot of these groups were built by folks where that was their funnel. I knew more than everybody else in that group, including the guys that were doing it. I even saw one guy, his name is Tim. He sold this thing called Cloud CBO. That was his big idea when CBO first came out.
What's CBO?
Campaign budget.
Yeah. So when it was brand spanking new, like it was the new thing.
Yeah.
I was at a So what's anyway, look, you said it.
What's a free throw?
Yeah. So like, here's the point. I was at a conference in Las Vegas.
Okay.
It ended up being like this Mickey Mouse operation, but whatever. Dude is on stage preaching his new idea, Cloud CBO. It's my deck that I built with Facebook for what I call bucket-based CBO and the CBO thing. He literally was preaching my deck that was handed to him by a rep who shouldn't have handed it to him. And I knew the slides before he came on.
Oh, shit.
Like by slide 5, I was like, oh, this is my shit. This is my shit from September. And he's in April preaching this thing because I was part of the alpha.
Yes, yeah.
So anyway, that kind of stuff was happening. I started getting kicked out of every group. So part of me is like, oh, fuck you. So I started to join every group. And I started to get people that like followed me from group to group because like I was the only person that was actually doing something. We were like, oh yeah, you're full of it, whatever. And I was working at a company where we were, you know, our Shopify was hitting 100K a day or whatever, right? And like it started at 35, I got them to 100. Like by the time I hit 100K, I would just go home that day. Like my job's done. Like I'm getting in trouble for watching too much Game of Thrones at my desk and just starting ad agencies and playing around on Facebook. I don't actually do anything, right? Because I figured out how to make the machine do all the work, which is a whole other thing. But like, what happened is I started to build a following. I accidentally built a brand, a personal brand, where people started following me. It got to the point in 2018 where I was banned from every Facebook group on Facebook that talked about ads. Like, over 400 groups had banned me for life from being a member. And what happened is, this guy, these two guys in particular, one guy, Rabah Rahil, who used to work at Triple Whale, now he works for Matt. He was like, bro, what are you gonna, like, you need to make your own group. Like, I'm just sick and tired of bouncing around to find you. And he had been through like 37 groups or whatever, bouncing, following me to the next thing, the next thing, the next thing. And he was like a media buyer for Whole Foods at the time. And now like he's done some other really big stuff. And we're homies, we're in like a fantasy football league together. And I owe him a pair of sneakers. And I was gonna get him these one things, but like, I didn't realize they were gonna be $2,000. Shit. You know. But anyway, the point is, he peer pressured me into starting my own group.
Oh, okay.
So what I did is I was like, simple, all right. I'm gonna do my own group, here's what I'm gonna do. Saturday mornings, I'm gonna go live for an hour in my group. And because I can't spam other groups with information, I'm just gonna give a 30-minute lesson and take some questions. Live on Facebook in my group, right? That group started to grow because everybody started spreading the word of that, right? And so that was, I think at the time, it was like Charley, teas, bots, ads, and like.
I'm still a part of that. What are you talking about?
So like, the thing is,
I still get notifications.
yeah. So the thing is, that group started to grow, and so I got sick and tired of answering the same question all the time. Now, I also happen to be a fantasy football enthusiast. Fantasy footballers had started a Patreon where they would just like go through and answer the questions ever. So it's like, all right, $5 on Patreon. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start answering these questions, throw them in a PDF so I don't have to answer this stupid question anymore. So I started a $5 a month Patreon. I was like, oh, this thing's popping. I'll make it 10, make it 20, whatever. That Facebook group, over the next 3 years, grew to 18,000 people. That Patreon grew to over $20,000 a month. I left my day job because we went to an exit event. It was a nutrition company. When I got there, they had a media buyer that was running about $3,000 a day at a 2.5x ROAS. I was there for a week. He put in his 2 weeks notice. I took him from a 2.5x ROAS down to a 0.8. And I got him up to $50,000 a day. Took the brand from $15 million to a $97 million check from Deloitte. And the owner of the company walked away. I'm at this company. They're going for an exit event. When I joined the company, they had another media buyer. I was the second media buyer because it was so much work. He was running about $3,000 a day at a 2.5x ROAS. I was there for a week. That guy put in his notice because I come in. He was just doing things on the seat of his pants. I come in, document everything. Full step, full transparency, everything. And I pull in all the numbers from all the members of the team, right? I take the Facebook ROAS from 2.5 down to a 0.8. And the revenue numbers go from 15 mil a year to 97 mil. Because what I did was instead of trying to make the Facebook ads look good, I understood that my job was to amplify everybody else on the team. My job of getting a worse ROAS on Facebook basically meant, let me not steal all the low-hanging fruit so we can get those sales from Google, so we can get those sales from organic,
right.
So we can grow the email team. We grew a Facebook community from 20,000 women to 500,000 by putting the link to the community in every ad. That community member alone would crush stuff. We did fun things like I would make a separate side group of all the baller, like just the most engaged women, like 100, 200 women, right? Now it's a nutrition space, not a weight loss company, right? And that VIP group, in order to become a member, whenever I dropped a winning ad into that group, you had to post before and after pictures and tell your story. Violate all the terms and services in the comments section. So all of our ads had 100 before and after stories of all the most active members of the group. And you're like, I don't know, this ad, there's a community, let me go see it. Susan said this and Becky said that, and, you know, whatever. And then you go to the group, oh my, they're the most active people in the group. They're still here.
So you'd have, just real quick, so you'd have the group essentially, I don't want to use the word spam, but like
spam.
Yeah, you'd have the group spam the comment section of your ads.
Yeah. So I would basically gamify the review, because your ad is also the comment section is like the review section of like an Amazon listing. So I would just import 100 success stories. So my estimated action rate on every ad was amazing, because people would sit there and watch the 30-second, the 5-minute before and after video. They'll like woman be like, oh my God, this company changed my life. Here's all the things. And there's 100 of them. And you join the group for free, and that woman is there just helping everybody do stuff because they're evangelists, right? So like we're doing all of that stuff. And I'm running the ads at a 0.8 because my goal isn't to make the Facebook ad account look good. It's to drive up organic search. It's to drive up paid search. It's to drive up email. It's to drive up Amazon searches. It's to drive up all the other revenue sources. I am the volume knob on the business. I am not there to make money. I'm there to make everything that makes money have 10 times the opportunity. That business, again, went from 15 mil to 97. The owner of the company, Kim, did not take the check from Deloitte, decided to not exit the business. And shortly thereafter, there was an exodus of the top talent. The VP of that company left. And he went to another company. On a Monday, he started. On a Tuesday, he filled out paperwork. On a Wednesday, I was there meeting with him and the founder of the company. And the guy basically was like, look, what do you need? And then got it from the table, and the guy went over from the cards. And this one you're going to ask for him and all that. I'm sure they arranged something. And I'm sure it was a fraction of what I was worth. I probably could have asked for $250. They gave me $160K, full benefits, and profit sharing, right? So anyway, I did the same thing at that company. But the point is, while all this is happening, in my professional career, that Facebook group is continuing to grow. right? That Patreon is continuing to grow. And all I'm doing is I'm now like once a month or whatever, just taking all the questions and I'm building a curriculum accidentally because I'm like, come on, this is what a retargeting ad is. By definition, these are the best practices. Like, this is what a lookalike audience is. This is what you're supposed to do. And so I ended up just building textbooks because I got sick and tired of answering the same fucking question over and over again. So I'm just like, look, if you want the answer to this question, it's in the Patreon. It's like $20. And then eventually became like $100. And then I built a Slack community off of it for like the premium. So then I would have my chat on the Slack community because and what I ended up doing was instead of doing the free stuff on Facebook, I did it on Slack, and to be a part of the Slack community was $100. Then it was $250. Then it was $500. Right? And by the time, still, that was still Charley's ads, bots, whatever. Disruptor School didn't exist like as it does now. And then like COVID happened. And I was training ad agencies and you know, people had gotten to know me from that brand kind of stuff. And what I started to do was take my hour-long, like, me, bad lighting, hair all over the place, hadn't showered in 2 days, whatever the fuck, and just, like, my video from the Facebook group. And I just started putting them on YouTube. And just, like, here's a really bad video with a terrible thumbnail and the worst SEO possible on it, right? And just started spamming that out. And started to do that, and then eventually, I got to the point where I was earning $20,000 to $30,000 a month from consulting, and from like consulting calls where it was like $100 an hour, then $200 an hour, then $500 an hour, whatever it was. Those calls and that community, the Patreon, and it's still at the time I was like, I can't start a business. Like, who am I? Like chip on my shoulder, like I'm a fucking heroin addict. I'm just teaching these people how to do stuff. And then eventually, during COVID, enough ad agencies were hiring me to teach their entire teams how to do stuff. Because I'd also standardize things. Because at that point, I've been in the game 7, 8 years. I'd standardized everything. I had written down every single thing because I had hired enough people. I had trained enough people. And I got sick and tired of answering the same stupid question over and over again that I just wrote down the answer so I didn't have to bother with you. And what ended up happening is I built out an entire manual of everything everybody should ever know. Just by just sheer attrition of being pissed off at stupid questions, right? Dumb shit. And then I just was like, oh, I'm just going to monetize access to it. $5, $10, $15, $20, $50, $100. Hey, if you join the 201, my weekly lives are now only in the 201. And I still have people that joined in 2020 that are still in there, paying $200 a month or whatever for that thing, right? And so what I did during COVID is I was the anti-course guy forever. Because all the people running courses were terrible. And I had been kicked out of every group that they had ever started. The guys that had founded Ad Leaks and the Common Thread collectives of the world and all of these scammers had kicked me out of all of their funnels because I was well more educated than them and I was citing my case studies that they were teaching a year and a half later, but like not giving all of the context. And you still see that today. Like I developed a process for how to use cost caps. That is the business model for every cost cap agency that exists today. I invented that in 2018. They run that playbook, but they're only running page like 5 to 18. They're not running page 1 through 4, and they're not running page 19 to 30. They're just doing the like predatory thing because it's the easiest thing to rinse and repeat as an operational.
Sell
right?
to somebody who doesn't.
Yeah, it's the easiest thing to basically drain somebody's funnel and give them enough performance so that they sign the second check of a 3-month contract, right? Like, and so it's built around that whole thing. And so I ended up building a course. And my wife had found this woman, her name is Janae Rose. She no longer does this business, but my wife has a Pilates studio. And we got married, I paid for my wedding in cash and all that stuff. And like, during COVID, she had to shut down, right? So she shut down the Pilates studio. So she made an online program. She went to this woman, Janae Rose. She found her on Instagram or whatever. And she was basically like, I'm going to teach you how to build an info product to make a $10,000 a month, right? And it's like, get a cohort of like 12 people to pay you $800. Like, let me help you teach you how to build an Instagram to sell this thing, to build that thing, right? My wife hates Instagram, doesn't really do that stuff. She's an in-person business thing. She's just like bulldog her way through some shit and make it happen. She knows her business stuff. And I was like, she can make it work. She can hit a $10,000 a month. I'm actually good at this. I've been doing this forever. Let me build a course. And I'd also at this time, ironically also, had to join Twitter. because I did an interview with some guy in an ad agency that I trained, and one of the interviews was like, hey, you have to make a Twitter account so we can like shout you out or whatever. So I built a Twitter account called CT the Disruptor so I could find all the other people from the Disruptor group because, which is a whole other saga of this thing, but I was in the founding member of the Facebook's Disruptor group back when I was at that brand we were spending, and then we got to 95 or whatever, so we were defining the best practices when broad targeting and CBO and catalog ads and dynamic creative and all that stuff was invented. So I hadn't talked to any of those people in 2-3 years because I had left that company and then COVID happened. So I named my account CT the Disruptor because I had one from when I was a radio guy that I didn't use. And I was like, I'm just going to go find all the Disruptor folks. And I realized that none of them branded themselves. They were all just employees. Like none of them were like the entrepreneur that I had slowly become in the moment accidentally by just attrition and loneliness and like, you know, insecurity and like desperation of just like, can I have a friend? Can I talk to somebody? Because like nobody knows what the fuck I'm doing. And that course, I charged $2,000. I made over 150 grand in like 45 days. And I was just like, oh shit. And so that launched, I think in March of 2021. I quit my part-time job at one agency. I quit my part-time job at another agency, and I left that company that I was at. So I quit basically $250K in salary. And I was like, I made $150,000 tax-free. Apparently you have to pay tax.
Apparently.
But like,
we thought.
Apparently. But the point is, so then I got married that summer and paid for the wedding in cash. And then that was so good, I was like, oh, let me join the community that she was in. That Janae Rose. So I joined that thing. And I built a program that cost $9,500. And then that, I sold a cohort of that 6 people. It took me like 2 weeks. And I was like, oh shit, okay.
I got a business on my hands.
And then,
people,
yeah.
6 people.
And then 6 people, $9,500.
We're talking about close to 100 grand, right?
I mean, that was about 60.
No, 60.
60,
Sorry. Yeah.
So I did it again.
10 times.
So I did it again 3 months
There you
later.
go.
Okay.
And then I did it again 2 months after that.
Yeah.
Now we're talking $100,000. You know,
Yeah, for sure.
And it was like 6, 5, 9.
So the light bulb went off at that point.
Yeah, so that was the point where like, okay, I can do this. And even at that
Who are
point,
these people that were paying that much money?
people that had been following me on YouTube for years.
Okay.
They had been in my Facebook group forever.
Yes.
They had bought my course. Mm-hmm. They had been following me on Twitter. They had seen me on some interviews.
Yeah.
They had seen me, when I got a Twitter account, I started to do the same thing that I did back in the Facebook days. I still had the list.
Yeah.
Because it was on, like, I just went back to my Facebook. I had the actual raw post stuff. And so then I just went on, and anybody that gave bad information, I was just like, I would correct them in public. Well, apparently I was correcting in public all the well-respected individuals that run all these scammer companies. And I would basically go to their comment section and all their tweets and be like, you're lying. This is what it actually is. If somebody does that, these are all the things that are going to happen. And the order it's going to happen, why it's going to happen, and when it's going to go wrong. As soon as all that shit hits the fan, people are like, wow, this guy told me everything was going to go wrong in the exact way it's going to happen and told me how to fix it for free. He's selling the thing so I can know what he's doing. Mm-hmm. Fish in a barrel. And at that point, it was like, okay, I got something.
Yep.
And I still didn't have the confidence to start the business.
Yeah.
But I did 3 cohorts in that community. And then I started taking YouTube seriously. Then a year later, I finally built the business because I was like, oh my God, okay, I think I could actually do this. Like, it took me that long. At that point, I went from 150,000 on the first round to 400,000 the next 6 months to like 700 grand. And I was like, okay, I think I could actually start a business. I like part-time info products.
Yeah, that shit would have
theoretically,
clicked. That shit would have clicked for me at like 40,000.
Yeah, but the thing is,
but I can follow why.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
the what
there's
and
just
why.
Because why he's in it is the difference between him and the rest of those dudes, right?
Yeah,
like the rest
'cause,
of those dudes would be like, I got something, I'm gonna charge these motherfuckers
Yeah,
as much
yeah,
as
Because
I
it's
can.
not a scam. It's
Yeah.
First of all, it's strategic. But then now, at each tier, there has to be information of value for that tier of people, and then you got to organize that information in a digestible
that
way.
happened naturally.
Yeah.
That happened naturally because the first group was just everybody trying to do something that was sick and tired of being scammed by people on Facebook groups.
Right.
So it was all entry-level shit.
Yeah.
And then people had enough money to pay me more, so they asked me more advanced questions. And all I did there was like, we'd have a weekly class. I'm on for an hour, share your screen, let me solve your problems.
Oh, you would individualize the
Yeah, I mean, we just did it. The class was an hour. Ask a question.
Oh, is the class.
That's the class. It's like 3-4 people ask a question, and then okay, well, what if I just record all of these as 4 different videos, and in my community I'll just disperse the videos. So now those are lessons. So then the people asking me questions is building curriculum, and then I'm starting to get my reps in the questions that people are asking. 3 years later, I built the information product, the course of like how to build a winning Facebook ad account. And to be completely fair, I wrote the entire thing as Instagram Reels while walking my dog around the neighborhood one morning. I was just like, you need to know this. You need to know. I went on a fucking rant. And I was like, oh, this stuff works. Let me just record a 45-minute video of this 30-second Instagram Reel rant. Packaged it up, $2,000, sold a ton of them. And so, like, at that point, I felt like,
did you re-record them to make them polished? Or no?
I mean, I did, so it was a 30-second Instagram Reel, and I was like, I knew the topics. And I knew the order that I was going to do it in, because it was just me being like, it was just me going off.
So you just knocked them out.
And then I was like, each reel was a topic.
Yeah.
And then I basically was like, all right, I'm gonna record a 30 to 45-minute video on this.
That's the advantage when you know what the fuck you're talking about.
on the one, like you did record a clean version.
Yeah, which was me with my like laptop camera with a drop cloth behind me and like a logo.
Yeah.
Which looked janky as shit. And everybody was like, you looked terrible. It looked scammy. It looked low res. It was like it was 720. Just the worst shit ever, but the info was better than anything anybody else had.
That's what the people.
And that's all the people care about.
Yeah.
And so then the school came up of me figuring out retroactively, okay, I'm just gonna do the high ticket stuff. And then like I got a student of mine to sell the high ticket stuff, so I didn't have to take sales calls anymore. So then I dove into YouTube, just trying to go back to the original video, the original posts that I did. Now, instead of spamming posts out, I'm going to make videos like once or twice a week of that same thing. And what I did once a week is I made a 30-minute video. And now I'm a radio DJ, so I know time blocking and how to basically talk up to the break of the song to the next thing. So I'd write 3 topics. I'd be like, I'd come up with a topic for the conversation. It might be like while I'm walking out to go. I had no idea what I was going to say. Sometimes I would like decide on the walk out to my office, right? Because my office is in my backyard. And turn on the camera. I might have 3 things written on a sticky note. Like these are my 3 topics. 2-minute intro. At exactly 2 minutes, I'm starting the first topic. At 12 minutes, second topic. 22 minutes, third topic. 32 minutes, outro. Done. And I could do that at the drop of a hat. So I did that for a year. And they all got 300, 500, 600 views, whatever. But that built in an audience of all the people like, holy shit, who is this like person with no views, with everything is wrong, with better advice than anybody. And I ended up building this entire thing. And as a result of all of that and helping other people out, my exposure to so many different things brought me to a place where I got to solve so many other problems in so many different ways with everything that I organically just was like, now, if you ask me why did I do this stuff, I have no idea. Like, I have no idea why I was like, okay, I'm going to make a YouTube. And retroactively looking back at it, I think I'm a musician. I've always been on stage. COVID happened. I couldn't get on stage. So like I found a way to perform. An artist finds an audience, right? Shit, nobody's watching. 600 views is more than any. That's more people that have been to any show of any of my band, right?
Yeah, that's why I'm here. I should have dropped that motherfucking mixtape on Activision's Twitter.
What's your biggest audience?
Man, biggest audience I probably ever performed in front of was probably like, and shout out to him, man. I opened for Talib Kweli.
Okay.
On we called it the West Coast Run. My good friend Brandon, you know Brandon. He put together a West Coast run of openers. Okay. And it was just some shit where Kweli was like, all right, yeah, whatever, they get open. He didn't give a fuck. But it was like Vegas, San Diego, and LA. And at the time, I was actually working at that spot. Okay. And at the time, I was like, I'm going to tear this shit down, right? The biggest show was San Diego. I still got footage. We could chop that up with this episode, too. That show was popping. That show was popping. I had him sing Happy Birthday to my mom. It was my mom's birthday. I had him sing Happy Birthday to my mom. It was probably about 200 people in there. 250. Okay. I had some shows when I went to Howard. I performed. I did Howard Homecoming. So you can put that. That was probably about 1,700. Okay. Yeah. But I totally feel you from the aspect, and that's the feeling I get still from this. A lot of times people are like, man, why are you not rapping no more? First of all, rapping is not the type of thing where you can't be a session rapper or like, hey, I rap every Tuesday down at Joe's Burger Bar. Like, it's not like playing a sax or even singing. Because, like, you can be the singer in Mastro's and be like, nobody. I mean, I ain't saying it like that, but, you know, like, and you can find work. Rapping don't fucking work like that. Like, you're either famous or you're a fucking nobody. Like, it ain't no catch me every Wednesday. So, you know, I feel you in terms of getting the creative juices rolling. That's why I enjoy doing this with Steve. That's why I enjoy, even when I started making content, that bug was kind of like a similar bug. Like, yo, I'm making some shit. And like somebody could like it. We talk all the time, like, yo, if I go on Instagram and I talk about like gender roles or some bullshit, which is why we call it business is bullshit, because we know the algorithms. Yeah. And it's like, if I do some bullshit versus if I give like business advice, like the algorithms kind of don't like that shit. Like, they don't tend to like.
Well, because viewers don't casually want to absorb that.
You know, but it's still, even regardless of like what the engagement is or whatever, the people that do like it, I know I'm bringing them value, and that brings me value.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo.
It's the craziest thing when I get on a call with somebody and they're like, look, I'm a little starstruck. I'll probably watch 100 hours of your videos. And I'm like, oh, you're the one. Like, where are all these views coming from? I drop a video, I get 100, 1,000, whatever views. I'm like, who are these people?
That's funny.
Like, so the point of, that's like where the business comes from. Yeah. Is that eventually it got to the point of like, where it really happened for me was during COVID, I was watching football. My buddy came up to me and said, your social media looks stupid. I could do better. And I was like, bro, I'll pay you $100 to do a better job. And that's when I got my first like person on payroll. And at that point, like, it was an operation. Yeah. It took me probably 2 years to hire another person, and that person lasted for like a month. But that's when it started to happen. Like, when it wasn't just, because it got to the point where my buddy was an out-of-work actor during COVID. Like, it got to the point where I started to pay his rent. You know, like my paycheck was what made his rent work. And that's where it really kicked in that, like, one, my goal is, I know there's a lot of predatory, low-integrity people who are trying to monetize whatever they can that legitimately, one, don't care about the people, or two, like, if you give bad advice, either A, you don't know what you're talking about, in which case people shouldn't trust you, or B, you do know what you're talking about and you do it anyway, in which case fuck you and people shouldn't trust you.
So how does a person get a heroin addict to say, like, I trust a heroin addict?
I mean, I don't know. Like, apparently people do. So, like, but here's the thing, is that, like, I mean, one, I think I'm open about all my shit. And like, all my videos now, like, my daughter will be on my lap. Like, I was doing a class today, and I was like, yo, I got to change this diaper. I'll be back in 5 minutes.
It's definitely the authenticity, and it was interesting for me, because you talk about people who watch the hours, like, I ended up being one of those people, but I already had a personal relationship with them.
That's
so it was really weird on the low. Like, I'm like,
oh, you was watching like as a fan,
bro. So like, it was funny because it was in between the time. I mean, I won't get too personal, but like, I was fresh single. I had moved out, and I was like in a locked in phase in my business, like sort of where you are right now. I mean, we've always been locked in, but like, you know, one of those like, extra. Like, and I remember thinking like, all right, if this is a service we're gonna provide for people, I need to re-educate my fucking self, you know, about this. I've always been cool with Charley. We talked about it. I know Facebook ads in the top, you know, percentile of people, but like, let me relearn this shit, right? And it was to the point where I would have a girl over and they'd be like, who the fuck is this white dude? on your fucking, because I'm watching YouTube on the TV.
Yo, that's the shit that creeps me out.
I just became, and I'm like,
it blows my mind. I get tagged in like Instagram stories and it's like somebody's living room. Bro. And my face is 4 feet tall.
I'm talking about, I'm in the crib late night, like, I'm going to sleep to this motherfucking Charley T. Like, you need to do one campaign strategy. I'm locked the fuck in, but I'm like, I know him, so it's kind of weird, but it's also like, because I know him, I know he knows what the fuck he's talking about, and I know that it's I think where you separated yourself, point being, is you didn't gatekeep.
Yeah.
And you also were authentic to yourself, right?
Yeah.
And I that's not even just me knowing you. That's me just looking at the channel. It's like, bro, if you just looked at value, it's like, bro, he's killing everybody on.
All right, but I want to know something. Is there a cultural difference in what you can do when you're white or black? Like, you get on screen, you got your nails painted.
Yeah.
It's you know.
Oh, dude, the amount of people, like, I got a comment from somebody, an overseas guy.
Okay.
Who heard through his drop shipping friends that had learned from some of the folks that I'm regularly checking.
Okay.
Who point is, his comment was like, I really appreciate your enthusiasm and how positive you are as like a member of the trans community helping people. And I was like, first off,
yo, bro,
thank you for the support. Second, I got nothing but love for anybody. But that is not my story.
Yeah.
I don't want any of that credit. That is not who I am.
Yeah.
And like, thank you, but that's also like not like.
Yeah.
So, I when you pull me up versus anybody else, not and I'm now strategic about it. I had no fucking clue earlier.
About what?
Just like the content. Most people have a good editor. They use good cameras. There's nice visuals so you can follow along, and the information is like concise, and they're always giving you the latest thing.
Yeah.
I'm shouting at you for half an hour, no editing, because I had enough time doing radio that I could just like hit record, shout at the screen for 32 minutes, turn it off, done. No cuts, fucking upload it.
Yeah.
If I fuck up,
You good?
starting over.
Okay.
Done.
Yeah.
If I have a bad take, fuck it, we're redoing the whole thing. The side of the album is one take.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
And I probably did that like 3 times over the space of like a year. Not very often. So like, everybody else has highly polished, very visual stuff. And they're always like, you know, it's Iman Ghazi who looks like a millionaire, right? Or it's like Jordan Welsh who's like got that come up, like whatever it is, right? So
they're selling this also, right?
And there's a whole bunch of subtle shit that's like, yo, I got money.
Yeah. That's
I got money. Don't you want to be like me?
Yes,
we
talked about
this shit last week.
Like,
and meanwhile, I'm coming in like shouting at you with tattoos, colored hair, painted nails. Shit's low res, and I'm dropping sauces they'll never do.
Yeah. But did you see like let's say a Nike or you did stuff for New Balance, or fuck the stuff that you did corporate or like while it was married to another brand. When you went independent, do you need to change how you show up in order to feel like you would hit your best audience? Let me not call them best. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A higher ticket, like corporation.
I'll be honest, probably, but I don't care. Like, and maybe that's just being a punk rocker in bands all the time. I'm like, I'll say this: when I was in a band, I know my band is better than yours.
Yeah.
Let's go to a high school gym. Put me under one basketball hoop on one side of the court. You can go on the other.
Yeah.
Whether I'm playing by myself or with the band. This is my mentality. 2 minutes in, you can just leave. Because nobody knows you exist. My kung fu is stronger. I'm better than you at this. I can... So like, because of that, there's none of the, like, how do I position this stuff to get somebody's credibility? If you don't like me, fuck you.
What's your take?
So for me, that was actually one of the reasons.
Well, it's not necessarily fuck you, but like sucks.
No, I get
sorry.
you. So that's why we connected when we first met, because I remember thinking like, and going back to your other question, like, regardless of race, creed, color, whatever, like I remember thinking like, absolutely, but like my entire experience this is like a percentage of why I became a full-time entrepreneur, because I'm like, my organic self, my authentic self, it never meshed well in black or white corporate settings, to be completely frank. So it was like either a perception or whatever, and I noticed that in him at that job, although he was senior to me, it was like a slightly older, whiter version of me. Like I saw me in Charley. I was like, he don't really give a fuck. Like and the reason he doesn't give a fuck is because he knows how intelligent he is. He might be cool, he might be laid back, he might be tatted, he might be a musician, he might be all these things, but he knows this shit better than all y'all motherfuckers in here. So the reason why you have him in here, despite him not being the cultural fit with you, is because he knows his shit. And nobody can ever take that away from you. So for me, being an entrepreneur, that was a big part of it. Was like, bro, I gotta be able to show up as myself because I feel wildly uncomfortable when I can't. Like I'm not me. You know what I mean? So I'll take all the struggles, all the stress, all the late nights, all the ups and downs, because there's no comfort like being able to be your fucking self. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody controls me, bro. I can have an up month, a down month, up year, down year. Like the fact that, and I think that's what is the true entrepreneur spirit, to be honest. Like, it's like, bro, like that level of freedom. I remember doing my best at particular jobs. Like I'm kicking ass. And like the beef that I'm having with my superiors is, do I come in the office at 9:38 or 9:08? And it's like, bro, I'm not about to have a conversation with you about this fucking 30 minutes. Like, you know I'm the best marketer you got. The stats say that. Like, why are we even fucking talking about this? Because there's some other perception that you or someone else over here may have. Like, fuck you and fuck all of that. If I can't speak the way and I'm not a dick, I'm not an asshole to clients or anybody, but like, nah, bro, like to me, that's the reason I do it, is because I have to be able to have the wiggle room to be myself. Like being up in that office, it was like, bro, if I even flinch the wrong way, like one of these ladies might think I'm in here like I'm not supposed to be in. I really got to show my badge when I walk in. Like, yeah, I do work here. Yeah.
When with us as individuals, we have our companies, and then we are also individual brands. So a person may say, I want to buy from Donnie because I like how he, I like Donnie, or I like
they do like me
personally, or I like Charley. But if your ideal customer, or the customer like a corporation has a specific look, like how much, like us as individuals are products,
sure,
right? So how much do we start to then tailor how we present ourselves to appeal to that?
I mean, I think my impression of that is like, I think that the right answer to that fits also to you to be, true to who you are. Like, some people feel very comfortable. Like, I don't know if you've ever read the book E-Myth Revisited.
No.
And I'm also trying to drop like nuggets on this stuff. Okay, so if you read the book E-Myth Revisited, highly recommend. I don't read a lot, but that's one that I'll recommend. Remember, I didn't go to law school because I had to read? Fuck that. I'm going to Full Sail. Make records and do drugs. Which worked out well for me. Yeah. Don't recommend my path. Whatever. I got a lot of dead people's names in my phone book, but in my phone. But it worked out for me.
Yeah.
Point is, it breaks down business operators into basically two separate sections. There's the visionary, and there's the integrator. Now, the visionary is, like, if you look at Apple, Steve Jobs is the visionary. Mm-hmm. Wozniak is the integrator. A lot of brands have that, like, person that, like, logic, reasoning, common sense has no place in what they do. Like, as to how they do things. They're the big picture. And other people are like the get shit done. Right? They're like, we're gonna be the reason that things get taken care of. And to be fair, like, good companies have that in them. And most good operations have both of those. And whoever you are, you probably find somebody's your counterpoint. My point to that is, like, a visionary is probably gonna go. And you were talking about it, like how you handle things. Like when you're talking about that honesty or whatever, for me, that's just being punk rock. Like, I'm just going to be me. If you don't like it, I mean, sucks to be you. Like, that's your loss. You know what I mean? Like, you can go listen to somebody else who's more dressed up that doesn't know what the like, if you want to hear my advice 2 years from now, watered down, and somebody lying to you about it, pay them. Yeah. Or you could just not fail anymore, and I'll just save you time and money. Like, it's up to you. So my point to that is, that's my approach as a visionary. I'm an ENTJ type personality type. I'm Myers-Briggs, like the commander, whatever. But there's also people who are like the operator. The integrator. And the integrator, that person's best fit might be like, oh, this is my audience. Let me make sure I give them everything that they want exactly. Their identity might be in that people-pleasing, not in a negative way, but in that thing of like, this is what my people want from me. I'm going to give it to them and make sure that I nail it. And you know, in the world of like entertainment, there are folks that know what their audience wants and gives it to them over and over again, even if that's not who they are. They show up, they do their job. Yeah. And there are other people who are crazy, but are willing to can build a cult around that craziness, and that's who they are. And to be fair, I think there's both paths. So my point to that is that I think figuring out what is comfortable and natural to you. If you make a mediocre decision executed honestly and with enthusiasm, will outperform the best decision done, but exceptionally poorly. Yeah. Right? And so my point to that is, I think the answer could be both. Okay. It just depends on the situation.
Yeah. So what's my framing or like logic behind this question is because Steve Stout got contracted to rebrand the New York Knicks. And he did a campaign with Kith, and then of course he has the NBA deals. He has his agency Translation, which specializes in digital marketing, plus branding, etc. And I always think to myself, well, how do I get to a point where they call me? Now, and that changes because it's not just information. Because now you're not standing on the pedestal of who only knows, Facebook ads or a specific service, and then every upsell tied next to it. But it's like that brand can hire almost anyone in the whole world, and then they start to choose amongst the pool of like
the available talent or whatever.
Yeah, and they'll go, well, this guy, Steve Stow, he's like fairly polished to an extent, right? And then
but that wasn't his first gig.
No, it wasn't. It definitely wasn't. I use that loosely.
Yeah, he built that up.
I use that loosely. Like,
no, but my point to that is like that personal brand is built also on your reputation. Everybody says it's like, oh, who knows you? Or who do you know?
Yeah.
That is, I think, the worst piece of advice. It's not about who you know. It's about who knows you and why.
And why. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, because he started like, you know what I mean?
He was nobody.
He started in music, but that goes back to the Morgan Freeman and all the other points. He started in music and then I think he said like he did the
Ray-Ban deal with
Men in Black. Yeah, and he was like, I need to get in this advertising.
Fucking everything.
Yeah.
Even look at Lady Gaga, right? She was making beats for Akon.
Yeah.
But so I wonder, like, do you have to be that famous to get that level of consideration? Because McDonald's just left their agency.
I think for
like McDonald's left their agency. I know they probably went to another old school traditional agency. I'm like, how the fuck do I get to McDonald's?
Well, I won't say too much about that, but we tried. But anyway,
but still,
I think I think with that it's different and this is me having like a hybrid of two careers in the advertising space. Right, I spent half my time on the creative side. The agency I actually worked with, Charley, worked with Charley at, I finessed that into like their sister creative agency, which was across the street.
And much cooler.
Yeah. So like it was corporate as fuck. We in there like, they damn near shirt and tie cubicles. Yeah. And we would go to meetings at the Chiat office, which was across the street. You walk in there, they got a fucking basketball court, a fish tank. It's all type of beautiful women in there. It's creative. I'm like, this is my vibe. Like,
I interviewed in that room. They said you got the job. Oh, by the way, go to this
across the street.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it was like
switched me. I thought like, yo, I got this.
Yeah,
and
it was like the coolest. I mean, it still is probably right. Like one of the coolest.
It was in TV shows. And
Yeah,
stuff.
like it was the dopest office, bro. Like it was like one of the offices. Is like, all right, like I work in advertising. Like, oh, this shit got cachet to it, you know?
Yeah, like the guy that came up with like the 1984 Apple commercial. His office is like in the little, in one of the like little corridors.
Yeah,
like,
we used to walk past that shit, and it was dope.
He was never there.
He was never there. No, he was too rich to be there. But I say all that to say, I think with the creative agencies, there's a different path and a different social proof and a different, because all of those things matter more in a creative agency. Who are you? What have you done? Who are you connected to? Da, 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 da. Versus when you talk about performance agencies, right? And it's like, okay, there's really only one thing that matters. Well, all the shit you were talking about in the beginning, obviously, with the politics and the making the people look good, right? It's like a different world. I think in the personal brand space, we have more of an opportunity, like Charley's a shining example of, because it's like, eventually the knowledge will win out with those that are looking for it. You know what I'm saying? Like the Lambos, the Miami apartments, the fucking whatever, the chains, all of that. Yes, you'll get people you'll get the masses. You know what I'm saying? Like you'll get the masses. You could be
such a weird dynamic that's happening right now. The masses go to the
it's what the platform is. Instagram is
and then
is a vain
it's like
platform.
Well, because they want it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing, is that it's like.
Because mind you, they
but
don't know
Charley's
how to
catching-
hire a marketer.
I mean, look at how popular GLP-1 is.
But it's okay though. This is the thing. It's okay because Charley, how many Instagram followers you got?
Instagram, I don't know,
Like not
10,000?
that, but it's like
No,
okay,
that's fair
who gives a
enough.
fuck? Because there's all these dudes that are selling ads and all this. He's catching them where he's supposed to catch them.
Yeah, fact.
He's catching them. He's catching the people with such a higher intent that really want a different level of this information that he has and all these fucking scammers don't have. Yeah, so it's like all I need is my people that want what I have to offer. I don't care about the masses.
Yeah, remember earlier we were talking about the definition of success for a D2C business. Mm-hmm. You build the audience, what do you need? 5 sales? 10 sales a day? Like, what would it look like if you're spending $10 a day and all of a sudden you get 10 sales a day? What do I need to hit, like $1 million, right? What do I need to hit that number? It's not, let me be the guy that's running 17 companies that's got 130 employees and all that.
Yeah. It's
right?
What
like,
do you need for
remember
that
I said,
number?
why do they buy D2C? Because you're overcoming the objection of value. You don't need, like, if you want to start a sneaker company and make $1 million, like, cool. Like, you could get to that number and not ever have to worry about competing with Nike.
Niche down.
We talk about it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so, like, the point here is, like, if I get, like...
Okay, Don.
Okay, so,
that's what I'm doing.
We were talking about, like, this week was exceptionally nice for me, right?
Yeah.
I was closing some deals and stuff. For me to, if I'm offering a service for $10,000 and I want to do $1 million this year, I need to sell 10 a month. Can I get 10 people a month to buy from me? That's one every 3 days. Yeah. Can I make one sale every 3 days for an amount of money that is less than they would pay an ad agency? How many ad agencies in the world exist that charge $10,000, $15,000, $20,000? There are thousands of people every single day paying that money to rent expertise from people who do not know what they're talking about and definitely don't care about them.
Yeah, exactly.
Every day.
So my point is, like, can I get one?
Yeah.
If I get 2 a week, can I get 3 a week? Like, the definition of success is what defines the thing. So very much, like, in being successful, like, the number one thing that I'll say to this point, I think so many people misunderstand the market. And why I think we're actually in, like, the troubled times that we're in right now of basically going fucking full bore into a recession, why it's a great opportunity. Mm-hmm. All right? The macroeconomic issues are opportunities for microeconomic success. Because your competition, let's say you're starting a sneaker company, right? Your competition isn't Adidas and Reebok and New Balance, whatever else, right? Mm-hmm. You're trying to do a thing. Your biggest competition is the 1,000 people willing to spend $500 today that might not be in business tomorrow. Mm. Let's say $1 million gets spent today and 100 sales happen from it. Well, you're like, wow, those businesses are going to go out of business. Sure. But tomorrow, there'll be another batch. But here's the thing. If you got 3 of those sales, if you're moving 3 boxes of your shoes, if you're selling 100 shoes a month, imagine what that would do to change your life. Right? Like, food on the table, your bills getting paid, you quit your job. Maybe it goes from 100 a month to 100 a week. Your competition isn't the every like Foot Locker and like, you know, Lids and all what other stuff. Your competition is all the other people who got a TikTok and started a Shopify and they're drop shipping something. And the beautiful advantage of an economic crisis is twofold. One, the really big brands are going to have to make one of 2 choices. And we've seen this happen now before, so we have the empirical data to like back this up. They're either going to make the same amount of products but for cheaper, so they're going to make a lower quality product, or maybe that's shrinkflation. It's not 12 ounces, it's 10.6, but it's the same whatever. Mm-hmm. Or they're going to roll back the number of products they have. And it's probably a combination of the both, right? You see with car companies all the time. Like Chrysler legitimately only sells one product, and it's the Pacifica. Mm. The entire car company has one minivan. That's the only product Chrysler, the company, makes. Because they've been shrinkflationed and dropped the product line down to one thing. Mm. Which blew my mind when I realized Chrysler makes one car. But the point is, you got to Google it. I swear.
Because they don't have the 200 no more. 300. The 300's gone? It's done?
Yeah, it's gone.
It's been gone.
Really?
Yeah. The Pacifica is the only car they make. Yeah. Oh, they're a one product business. Yeah, so here's my point though, okay? Here's that happen. Do that on a macro level. Remember we talked about a D2C business. And by D2C, I mean any small business. Any small business. Your definition of success, your unfair advantage is that your definition of success is exponentially less. You don't need to sell 1,000 units a day. You sell 1 a day. It's incredible. If I'm selling one $10,000 package a day, I'm making $3.5 million. Oh my God, please.
Please and thank you.
Yeah, like, I don't need to do that every day. Yeah. You know what I mean? So my point is, like, obviously that's a high ticket item, but like if you're in a small business and you're trying to make sales, some days you do, some days you don't, 10 a day. That is life changing. You know what I'm saying?
For most people, yeah.
Like that is like I can quit my job. Yeah. Like that is like I'm starting to make real life decisions. You know what I'm saying? So my point to all of that is, if your competition gets easier, because the level of noise of all the assholes that are dropping $1,000 a day that won't be in business tomorrow go away. And all the people at the top that can spend $1 million a day where their objective isn't tied to revenue, they make shittier products and fewer of them. Mm. Your ability to overcome the objection of value becomes more and more available. So if you make a brand where you can build an audience of people who want to buy from you, your opportunity is only getting better. And the number one weapon you have is a brand identity. Somebody has to care that you exist. And price is never going to do that. Mm. But like, if you can overcome that, where the situation we're in, whatever you get to that point, and I've gone on a very long-winded answer. I don't remember the original point of the question.
How to survive in a
Yeah. So my point to all of that is
full of bullshit.
Yeah. So my point to all of that is like I want people to have the hope and the appreciation for the fact that like it is going to get easier and easier and easier to sell 2 or 3 times what you're selling right now. Mm. If instead of trying to make the sale, you start to try to make people care that you exist. And the competition getting in your space is going to get smaller and smaller.
Yeah.
Stick with it, y'all. Stick with it.
And so I'm just trying to leave that because like the number one reason it's going to be easier for me is because you're going to give up. My number one source of business, as a guy that's in the information and business development Facebook ads, my number one source of business, the number one thing that I hear from people is they tried everything else and it didn't work. Every time so-and-so does a bad job, right? The amount of people I get that are former clients of Taylor Holiday and Common Thread, him not doing a good job, not caring about his customer, and
Creates
charging
an opportunity for you.
Has made me $1 million. His inability to keep a working, like his going from 130 people down to like 20, 30, whatever his staff is, like he shrunk, you know, and they're blaming COVID and all sorts of other stuff. I would say, you know, he's a good operator at running the business, but they're bad at what they do. But you don't have to be good at what you do. Like a lot of really shitty products are run by are put out by very successful companies.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, so my point to all of that is most of my business comes from folks that have tried the easy way, tried the other stuff, and it didn't work. I had a call with somebody yesterday, and they were like, I'm going all in on this. I've tried 4 or 5 other things. My wife and I have quit our jobs. We're going to build an agency. We need to make this work. Along the way, everybody said that, like, you're the whatever, blah, blah, blah. They've been talking down to you. Everything that they said to do worked for a little bit and stopped working. You told me why it would stop working, when it would stop working, and how to solve the problem. The only money we're making as a family right now is because we listened to your advice, and that was the only thing that saved us from the clients we had when we listened to them.
Easy sell.
He came to me and said, I need this.
Yeah.
I hadn't even announced that I was going to do the thing. I had just had a meeting with my team an hour before being like, all right, we're going to do June 1st, we're going to do July 1st. Dude comes to me and says, I need this. My family needs this. I'm willing to borrow from my mom and dad to pay for it. So I made the first sale on my new thing. I'm like, I guess we're doing June 1st. And then the next day, 2 more sales.
I think, and we're going to do a lightning round and get up out of here, but I think when I hear your story, I watch your story, and we talk about what separates you in the education space, and obviously Steve and I, you know, we look up to you. I don't have a problem saying it, like in terms of...
I mean, you are taller than me, so like, I appreciate it.
But like the expertise around the ads and the industry that we're all in, but also as we both continue to build our communities and we both continue to educate and inform people and produce, you know, content like this that does that, it's inspiring to see. And I think the thing that stands out to me is how you separate, yes, is authenticity, but it's also intrinsic value and you giving a fuck about the customer and about their results and about like, listen, like I'm not in it to help you. I'm not selling you a get rich quick scheme or some program that's like, you know, overselling you some, you know, unrealistic eventuality, right? Like, yo, listen, I'm a pro at this and I'm going to tell you why this is going to work or isn't going to work for you. And I think through the long run, that's what sets you apart. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs are scared, regardless of the industry, are scared to differentiate based on value because they can't provide it over time. It's hard. It's fucking, like you just basically said, like, all right, this is what sets me apart from these dudes in every area, right? And it's like, yeah, the pain, the experience, the fucking time. It took me 5
years to even have the courage to do the damn
like,
thing.
I don't become that without this. You understand what I'm saying? So, like, I think it's like, but what that does is it gives you an advantage that nobody else can duplicate, right? Because it's like, you can't do this shit if you try, which is why you're comfortable giving the information on YouTube for free.
Absolutely.
Because it's like, yeah, I can do it because I actually know what I'm talking about and I'm building a connection. So with that being said, knowing what you know, we want to just tap into Charlie T's brain and do like a bit of a lightning round with you.
I mean,
before we get up out of here, right?
I
so
it. I think we're on like 4 hours.
Yeah. But so the way this is gonna, the way this is gonna work is
we probably easily could have done another.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a statement.
Okay.
Right. You know the title of the podcast is business and bullshit.
All right.
I'm gonna make a statement, You cannot elaborate. You can't do anything except tell me. It's basically yes or no. Is it business?
Is
Which
it
is a
business
yes,
or is it bullshit?
or is it bullshit?
I'm
right?
gonna not look at you.
Yeah,
Not
just
get,
say
like,
yeah.
triggered. Yeah.
All right,
okay.
so we're gonna do a lightning round. So you ready?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. Kill an ad after 24 hours if it flops.
Bullshit.
Retargeting is dead.
Bullshit.
If an interest audience beats broad targeting, something's wrong.
Bullshit.
Creative testing is the most important part of meta ads.
Bullshit.
A good offer can save a bad business.
It's business.
Advantage Plus is overrated.
Man, I'm terribly torn on that one, but I'm gonna go ahead and say for the greater good, that's bullshit.
Okay. $50 a day is enough to scale a brand.
Business.
No LTV, no scaling.
Business.
Scaling means nothing if your margins suck.
I mean, to the hyperbolic level, business.
If your creative doesn't grab in 2 seconds, it's dead.
Bullshit.
Your ad set should never have more than one creative.
Bullshit.
Copy doesn't matter. People only watch the video.
Bullshit.
Okay. The pixel is smarter than you.
Business.
Okay. You don't need new creative every week.
Absolute facts. Business.
You can scale ads without scaling your business and team.
Business.
I know what he's going to say to this one. ROAS is overrated.
Business.
Running ads before your product is optimized is a waste of money.
Bullshit.
Ooh, okay.
I'll do that with website.
Running ads before your website is optimized is a waste of money.
Oh.
You should never pause a winning campaign.
I mean, overwhelmingly, I would say that's business. Yeah.
All right.
Discounts do not impact performance.
That's bullshit.
Meta ads drive more sales than Google ads.
I mean, I guess that's business.
Brand awareness campaigns are a waste of money.
That's bullshit.
Really? Yeah.
Good creative can work without sound.
Business.
Yeah, that's business. You
You don't need an email list if your ads are working.
That is business.
You can't run meta ads without a strong landing page.
That's bullshit.
Really?
Meta knows more about your customer than you do.
Business.
Yeah.
Scaling a brand with user-generated content is not sustainable.
Bullshit.
Your best performing ad shouldn't become your brand identity.
Bullshit.
Okay, we got 10 more. You ready?
I mean, I could do 100 more. Bring them.
Your offer is more important than your creative.
Business.
Oh, yeah. I like that one.
Creative fatigue is a myth.
Business.
Yes.
Click-through rate is low. Your creative is trash.
Bullshit.
Retargeting is still alive.
Business.
You can scale with only one winning ad.
Business.
Lookalike audiences are dead.
Business.
Yeah.
You should run conversion campaigns from day one.
Business.
Ad frequency above 3 means it's time to turn the ad off.
Bullshit.
Meta's auto placements always win.
Business.
All right, that's all we got.
No, I have one. Audience network converts.
Business.
Oh, I've never seen an audience network conversion.
You should turn off ads during the weekend.
Business. I mean, obviously, these all have a lot of.
Of course, we gotta go one way or the next.
But the thing is, like, I've taken a brand to $1 million a month doing that. So business.
Okay.
Let me get a question here, because that's what's in the lightning.
Yeah.
This is a marketing question. If you had to mentor one controversial business figure on marketing, their personal brand, Kanye West, Elon Musk, or P. Diddy, who are you choosing, and what are you hoping to learn? They learn.
I think I've got a lot to learn. You know their name. They're better than me.
That was the most political bullshit.
No, man, like, what am I going to teach Kanye about hacking the pop culture in order to, like, make an album sale?
Yeah.
What am I going to teach P. Diddy? I mean, dude, like invented the concept of the thing that basically sprawled that entire thing. And, like, yeah, I mean, whatever you have to say, Elon's personal brand and marketing is put him as, like, probably the most powerful man on the planet Earth.
Very true.
Well, look, Charlie, you could always mentor me, Donnie B. You know what I'm saying? You ever want to sit down with a one-on-one with me? I got time, man. You know what I mean?
Whenever I can.
Wait. You know, I sorry, but
more. Let's go.
Just a little tiny.
I just need more.
No, I caught this tidbit this week.
Okay.
Fucking Mr. Beast was talking to Mark Zuckerberg. He says, the reason why my creative works is because I don't speak.
Yep.
I just do things that anyone can watch in any country, and the algorithm accelerates. I thought that was the most mind-blowing shit when it comes to... Now, I'm saying this...
That creative question.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, what's his name? The black dude.
Cobby.
Yes.
The dude who does this shit.
Because the thing is, so his point to that, because I saw that, and Mr. Beast's point to that is, it has to do more with the data of the machine. Data is used for targeting. Most targeting should not be thought of as how to hit the right people. When you give more data, when you use targeting, you are effectively creating exclusions. A 1% lookalike is a 99% exclusion. Right? So speaking in English immediately negates non-English speaking people. Why would somebody that only speaks Hebrew or Cantonese watch a video in English if they don't watch anything else in English? So, I mean, Mr. Beast does make videos that are in English.
Yeah,
but like that video, his best video ever of him running with money.
Is
universally understandable because it's U.S. dollars.
Yes.
And because it's purely visual.
It made me change how I want to approach some creative. It kind of not blew up, but like it definitely made me go, I'm changing some strategies.
Well, how many billboards have sound?
None, of course.
You're saying billboards don't work?
Oh, are you asking me?
Not
literally?
like meta ads.
I would say no, they don't work that well anymore. If you ask me.
That's another conversation for another day.
Apparently, you've never been excited to see a Buc-ee's from like 400 miles away.
That's funny. I definitely lived in Texas before, so that was a thing.
Or Pedro south of the border, driving, like screaming at your parents from like southern Maryland. Of like, it's only 22,000 more miles, kids. Just keep yelling. They'll stop.
That's it.
Charlie, man, well, we spent a lot of time here today. On behalf of Steve and myself and the Business and Bullshit family, man. We want to thank you for just dropping so many gems and so much inspiration, sharing your journey with us, sharing so many of those tips. So before we head out, if you just want to let the people know where they can find you, what you got to offer, and all that good stuff.
I run a business called Disruptor School. My goal is to help people create jobs and provide for their families, more success and less stress. If you can't find me, then you shouldn't trust what I have to say.
That's it. Well, this has been another episode of Business and Bullshit Podcast. This is probably our best and favorite episode that we've done.
Well, he says as the guy sitting next to him.
We got clips for days from this.
It's hard to explain the level of excitement you get when you're speaking to someone that speaks your language.
Yeah.
We just speak the same language, so it's just easier to communicate about.
Yeah, that's like I went to Shop Talk, and I lost my voice because I genuinely think I talked to 10,000 people in a week. And my wife was like, "That sounds awful." And I'm like, I basically just got to, I effectively just jerked off for a week straight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I woke up in the morning, had a coffee, got there at 8 a.m., wherever I was going, and then fell asleep in my room at 3 o'clock in the morning. I survived off of 4 or 5 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
Every day just excited to go to the playground.
And that's the difference with you and all these scammers, man. So whoever got beef with Charley T, you could come see me.
Yes,
you
please
feel me?
Keep tagging.
If y'all kicked him out the Facebook groups, you know what I'm saying? He gave me a job. I owe him from 10 years ago, so I'm going to come see him.
I will reply back to that. If you got beef with me, please have the courage to actually get on camera with me. Apparently nobody's been able to do that for years.
Oh, yeah, they don't want to get on the Zoom.
If you want to say something, please bring it to my face and let's have a conversation in public. Otherwise, I appreciate the business of all of your former clients because it's making my life really solid.
All right, man. With that being said,
it's the Business and Bullshit Podcast. Thank you for tuning in. We're out.
All right.